Today we are going to use a very special variety of rice and spices to make the most aromatic, meaty rice dish of your dreams. The most of your dreams. All right, hold on, I need to be a new man. Enter biryani. Our journey begins with this wonderful galamafri. So this is our masala, in other words, spice blend. This is not a spicy mix in the traditional sense, right? It's not gonna make your tongue and mouth explode. These are warming spices, much like you'd find in, a chai tea or, pho. If you can find garam masala at the store, go ahead and buy that, use that if it's easier. But if you do have these fresh spices or want to go out of your way to buy them, toasting and grinding your spices fresh does make a difference. There are a load of different spices on here, which will be listed there. You can toast your spices in a pan or the oven. I prefer the pan technique over low-medium heat. Move the spices around just until you kind of get a whiff of them without putting your face in the pan. Now, grind the spices in a grinder like this, or a blender works well too if that's what you have. Just blend until you have a fine powder. Make sure to really blitz these spices. Nobody likes a stringy piece of cinnamon or shredded cardamom pod. This lamb marinade could not be easier, and it is supremely tasty. To a pan, add the lamb chunks, full-fat yogurt, diced serrano chilies, garlic and ginger, turmeric powder and chili powder, all of the masala, and finally some chopped cilantro and mint. Mix that all together by hand and really get in there. Massage that meat. Play the meat piano, as they say. All right, so we used lamb today, but you could use anything, right? We're gonna let this marinate for 6 to 24 hours. Overnight is best if you can. All right, lamb done. Let's talk rice. Let's have a nice chit chat about rice. This is long grain basmati rice, which is the best rice to use for biryani. You can see right now, it's not cooked, so it's not super long, but these things will blow up in size. It's actually pretty incredible how long they can get. When you're looking for this at the store, a couple things to look for. All right, so this is the brand that I like to use mostly because of this cutesy little zebra here. This is aged parboiled basmati rice. It's extra long. And the number to look for here is 1121XXL. If you see this on the package, then you're using the right rice. And we soak our rice for 20 to 30 minutes to allow it to cook more evenly. Water basically gets absorbed into this little piece of rice here. So when it cooks, it's already kind of sort of hydrated and it cooks more evenly and doesn't get mushy on you. Important step, don't skip it. To cook the rice, season a large pot of boiling water with salt. Add in the toasted whole spices, then finally the rinsed and soaked basmati rice. We are not cooking this rice through, rather par-cooking it about 3/4 of the way. All right, so you can see how these rice grains have swelled up a bit. Still a little crunchy, still a little al dente. That's perfect. They'll finish cooking in the oven. Our work here is done, sort of. Strain the rice along with those whole spices, then set it aside while we continue onward. No kernels left behind. All right, maybe a few kernels left behind. For the onions, we're just going to julienne them up, which is just a fancy way of saying slice thinly. Oh, it has begun. If the onions bug your eyes, just be sure to grab some protection. Robots don't cry. Bring a large, heavy-bottomed pot up on medium-high heat. This is what we're going to cook our biryani in, so make sure it's a nice pot. Add in some ghee. Peer deeply into my ghee hole. AKA clarified butter, then just let it melt in. We're gonna do this in batches, so add in half of the onions, then season with a pinch of salt, and cook until chari and GB. Golden brown. Remember, we are not making European-styled caramelized onions here, so feel free to use high heat. Just remember to keep stirring to avoid burning the onions fully. Still, this takes a little time, so be patient and do not walk away. Remove the onions when they look sort of like this, then drain them on paper towels and set them aside. All of the fat that we used to cook our onions just now is infused with oniony flavor. This is a good thing. Go ahead and add in the marinated lamb and all of its marinade to the ghee in the same pot. Season with a little pinch of salt, then stir that around a bit and pop the lid on, reducing the heat to low and simmering for 45 minutes or until the lamb is tender. And I mean, how cute is that little snail thing? That's gotta be my favorite lid. Gives Gary a run for his money.
Good snail.
Waiting for the lamb to cook is the perfect time to knock out our cooling yogurt condiment known as Raita. Olé. Grate your cucumber on the small side of a box grater, then strain it through a cheesecloth and set it aside. And this is why we drain this cucumber. All that water would kind of literally water down the flavor in our sauce, so that's why we do this. Melt some ghee in a small sauté pan, then add in the spices, herbs, and salt, allowing it to gently cook for about 2 minutes. Now add full-fat yogurt and cucumber to a heat-proof mixing bowl and pour over that spiced mixture. Stir the whole thing up, then taste and adjust seasoning if need be. If it needs more salt, don't be afraid, add it in. Cooling and spicy, oh so slightly, exactly what you want to eat with a rich, meaty rice dish. After 45 minutes of simmering, the lamb should be finito. Just give it a little mixy-mixy and cut the heat. We're going to infuse a bit of warm, full-fat whole milk with this stuff. This is saffron. These famous little morsels come from a special flower that buds only a few threads at a time and is extremely labor-intensive to harvest. Hence its expensive price, which at certain points in history has been worth more than gold. Drop a Bitcoin's worth of saffron into that hot milk and allow it to steep for about 5 minutes while we begin building our biryani. Cut the heat, then to the same pot with the lamb, spoon in half of the par-cooked basmati rice, making sure to spread it around in a nice even layer. Drizzle half of the saffron milk on top, then add half of the onions and half of the chopped cilantro and mint. Repeat the entire process one more time using the remaining ingredients, being sure to save some of those herbs for garnish. To ensure a nice cook, we're going to do something a little extra. This is just a simple dough made from whole wheat and flour. Wait a second. What's this? I want to pause the video to talk to you real quick about the Omnivorous Adam Patreon. We do our best to keep these videos ad-free. The best way to support the channel is for you to become a patron and support us monthly for less than the cost of a $5 footlong from Subway. We're doing a lot of fun stuff over there. We got exclusive merchandise, we're doing live cooking demos, and monthly giveaways. I'm giving away a lot of fun stuff over there, so go check it out. Regardless if you can support or not, come say what up over on Discord. We have a fun little community over there. We pop in pictures of what we're cooking, what we're interested in, just talking about life in general. Come say what up regardless. All right, that's all from me. Let's bash some biryani. The exact details on how to do this is going to be posted on the recipe found in the description of the video. I feel like Steve Irwin. It's an optional step, but some people swear by its ability to hold in steam, therefore cooking the rice more evenly, I suppose. I'd argue that it could help if you're using an uneven clay pot or lighter aluminum cookware, but for a heavy-bottomed Dutch oven pot like this, it's not all that necessary, it's just fun. If using, go ahead and pinch that dough onto the seam of the pot, pinching it around the rim. Hear that air come out? Bake the entire pot on the middle rack of your oven, lid on, for 45 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. After its time in the heat dungeon, your biryani should look something like this. Party's on the bottom. Got those little, that tie-dye between the saffron buttery rice and that white rice, that contrast. A couple of whole spices in the mix. The scent coming off this thing is award-winning. I wish I had smell-o-vision to share it with you. One day, with the right AI. Finish with the remaining fresh herbs, then bask under the vibrant rays of biryani glory. That's a bowl of biryani. Oh, I almost forgot, dude. Our wonderful cooling yogurt situation. Got a bunch of different spices and herbs and some chili in there. I'm just gonna go ahead and dollop some on the side. It's a good start. This is a job for Spock. Let's get a little bit of meat, a little bit of rice. Oh yeah. Dang, that is just so good. The word of the day is aromatic. It's not spicy per se, it just has a ton of spice and some charry, smoky depth from the onion. And the lamb, because we cooked it on the bone, you have all that flavor seeped into the rice from the meat off the bone like that, and it's just like literally pull apart tender. I mean, I just pulled it apart and it's tender. Pull apart tender. Biryani is one of those intro to Indian and Pakistani foods, but it's so much more than just chicken and rice. Indian food's always been one of those like super intimidating cuisines to cook because it's just so complex. There's just so much that goes into it. There's so many ingredients I don't know, so many interesting, unique spices that do so many different things. It's exciting. It's one of those places that I'd love to explore more in the future and one day go to. If you or your family makes this dish, does it well, let me know in the comments. How did I do? Would you smash this? Would you throw it in the garbage? Let me know. All the YouTube guys stuff. If you like the video, like the video. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Join the Omnivorous Nation. And regardless, come say what up in Discord. Until next time. Toodles. That actually kind of hurt. That was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Oh.